Then came to Jesus scribes and Pharisees that were of Jerusalem, saying, Why do your disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they don't wash their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said to them, Why do you also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition? For God commanded, saying, Honor your father and mother, and he that curses father or mother, let him die the death. But you say, Whosoever will say to his father or his mother, It is a gift, by whatsoever you might be profited by me, and honor not his father or his mother, he will be free. Thus you have made the commandment of God of none effect by your tradition. You hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, This people will draw near to me with their mouth, and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. And he called the multitude and said to them, Hear and understand. Not that what goes into the mouth defiles a man, but that what comes out of the mouth, this defiles a man. Then came his disciples and said to him, Do you know that the Pharisees were offended after they heard this saying? But he answered and said, Every plant that my heavenly Father has not planted will be rooted up. Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind, and if the blind lead the blind, both will fall into the ditch. Then answered Peter and said to him, Declare to us this parable. And Jesus said, Are you also yet without understanding? Do you not yet understand that whatsoever enters in at the mouth goes into the belly, and is cast out into the draught? But those things that proceed out of the mouth come from the heart, and they defile the man. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. These are the things that defile a man. But to eat with unwashed hands defiles not a man. Then Jesus went from there, and departed into the coasts of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coasts, and cried to him, saying, Have mercy on me, O Lord, you Son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with a devil. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, Send her away, for she cries after us. But he answered and said, I am not sent but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then she came and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, It is not meet to take the children's bread, and to cast it to dogs. And she said, Truth, Lord. Yet the dogs eat of the crumbs that fall from their master's table. Then Jesus answered and said to her, O woman, great is your faith. Be it to you even as you will. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. And Jesus departed from there, and came near to the Sea of Galilee, and went up into a mountain and sat down. And great multitudes came to him, having with them those that were lame, blind, dumb, maimed, and many others, and cast them down at Jesus' feet, and he healed them. Insomuch that the multitude wondered when they saw the dumb to speak, the maimed to be whole, the lame to walk, and the blind to see, and they glorified the God of Israel. Then Jesus called his disciples to him and said, I have compassion on the multitude, because they continue with me now 3 days, and have nothing to eat, and I will not send them away fasting, lest they faint in the way. And his disciples say to him, Where should we have so much bread in the wilderness, as to fill so great a multitude? And Jesus said to them, How many loaves do you have? And they said, 7, and a few little fishes. And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the ground. And he took the 7 loaves and the fishes, and gave thanks, and broke them, and gave to his disciples, and the disciples to the multitude. And they did all eat, and were filled. And they took up the broken meat that was left 7 baskets full. And they that did eat were 4,000 men, beside women and children. And he sent away the multitude, and took ship, and came to the coasts of Magdala. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting him desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said to them, When it is evening, you say, It will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. And you hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but can you not discern the signs of the times? A wicked and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and there will no sign be given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he left them and departed. And when his disciples were come to the other side, they had forgotten to take bread. Then Jesus said to them, Take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, It is because we have taken no bread. That when Jesus perceived, he said to them, O you of little faith, why do you reason among yourselves, because you have no bread? Do you not yet understand, neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000, and how many baskets you took up? Neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000, and how many baskets you took up? How is it that you do not understand, that I spoke it not to you concerning bread, that you should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees? Then they understood how he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. When Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? And they said, Some say that you are John the Baptist, some Elijah, and others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. He said to them, But whom do you say that I am? And Simon Peter answered and said, You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answered and said to him, Blessed are you, Simon, for flesh and blood has not revealed it to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I say also to you, that you are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. And I will give to you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. But whatsoever you will bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatsoever you will loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Then he charged his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Jesus the Christ. From that time forth, Jesus began to show to his disciples how that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and the chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and be raised again the 3rd day. Then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, Be it far from you, Lord, this will not be to you. But he turned and said to Peter, Get behind me, Satan. You are an offense to me, for you savor not the things that be of God, but those that be of men. Then Jesus said to his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself, and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life will lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake will find it. For what is it a man profited, if he will gain the whole world, and lose his own soul? Or what will a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man will come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he will reward every man according to his works. Truly I say to you, there be some standing here that will not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. And after 6 days Jesus took Peter, James, and John his brother, and brought them up into a high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. And behold, there appeared to them Moses and Elijah talking with him. Then Peter answered and said to Jesus, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If you will, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for you, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah. While he yet spoke, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice out of the cloud that said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear him. And when the disciples heard it, they fell on their face, and were sore afraid. And Jesus came and touched them, and said, Arise, and be not afraid. And when they had lifted up their eyes, they saw no man, save Jesus only. And as they came down from the mountain, Jesus charged to them, saying, Tell the vision to no man, until the Son of Man be risen again from the dead. And his disciples asked him, saying, Why then say the scribes that Elijah must first come? And Jesus answered and said to them, Elijah truly will first come, and restore all things. But I say to you, that Elijah is come already, and they knew him not, but have done to him whatsoever they listed. Likewise will also the Son of Man suffer of them. Then the disciples understood that he spoke to them of John the Baptist. And when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man, kneeling down, and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic and sore vexed. For oft times he falls into the fire, and oft into the water. And I brought him to your disciples, and they could not cure him. Then Jesus answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long will I be with you? How long will I suffer you? Bring him here to me. And Jesus rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. Then the disciples came to Jesus apart and said, Why could we not cast him out? And Jesus said to them, Because of your unbelief. For truly I say to you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it will remove, and nothing will be impossible to you. Howbeit, this kind goes not out, but by prayer and fasting. And while they abode in Galilee, Jesus said to them, The Son of Man will be betrayed into the hands of men, and they will kill him, and the 3rd day he will be raised again. And they were exceeding sorry. And when they were come to Capernaum, they that received tribute money came to Peter, and said, Does not your master pay tribute? He said, Yes. And when he was come into the house, Jesus prevented him, saying, What do you think, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Of their own children, or of strangers? Peter said to him, Of strangers. Jesus said to him, Then are the children free. Notwithstanding, lest we should offend them, go to the sea, and cast a hook, and take up the fish that first comes up. And when you have opened his mouth, you will find a piece of money. That take, and give to them for me and you.